Hi, good night. Welcome to Conversation with Rickford Burke. This is Rickford here in New York. Good night to all of you. Share the link, everybody. Share the link, share the link. Big topic tonight. Lots to talk about. Let's get rolling. Share the link, everybody. Text me, let me know where you're watching from. Those of you who are here in New York, good night to you. It's just about 10:06, 10:08 p.m. Sorry. If you're watching from the West Coast, it's just about 7:08 p.m. Watching from Guyana, 10:08 p.m. The Caribbean, 10:08 p.m. London, good morning to you. Africa, Europe, wherever you're watching from. I hope you're having a good time or a good rest. Share the link, everybody, and I'll be right back in about 60 seconds. When we get back, fireworks. Welcome back to Conversation with Rickford Burke. Share the link, everybody. Interacting, talking to you, some of you. Good night, Lachman Aziz. Bobby's in the house. West Coast Bobby's in the house. Good night to you. Maxine Monroe, good night. Maxine, where are you watching from? Where are you watching from, Maxine? Maxine, what is that, fire? All right. More fire, slow fire. Um, Mark Blue, where are you watching from? Tushan. Kenneth DeFlorman from Washington, D.C. Good night. Carl Roberts, good night. Johan Austin, good. Johan, where are you watching from? Share the link, everybody. Share the link, share the link, share the link. Share the link. Watching from New York here. Hi, Sister Maria Abamulla. Yeah, Maria, share the link. So I'm texting somebody who asked me a question here. I like to interact here. From St. Lucia, Brian Small, watching Sandra Handover. Good night, good night, good night, good night. Share the link, everybody. Okay, good. So listen, tonight I want to address the Attorney General of Guyana. That cockroach. He's a cockroach cockamamie lawyer. I mean, the guy is in a special category by himself. So let me give you some background into this thing. Keep sharing the link, everybody. When during the 2020 campaign, Anil Nanlal mistook me, Rickford Burke, for some one of the people in Guyana who they killed. Maybe Comey Wing or Ronald Waddle or some one of these people who they think they could manipulate, intimidate. So even before they got into power, And then Allah wrote on some blog called Unruly Horse, should have probably been Unruly Cockroach, that, oh, he can come after Rickford Burke when they get into power because I was campaigning against them in 2020. He can come after Rickford Burke. Call me all sorts of names, wild man, whatever it is. And then he said that when he came into power, he said, oh, they're going to use extradition to get to me. Well, they've been in power for 4 years now. I'm not sure how that is going. But he obviously is getting more and more desperate because he's probably never seen a political opponent like me. They kill people and get away with it. They kill people and get away with it. So keep sharing the link. This is the same Anil Nanalal who threatened to send gunmen at Kaichur News. Threatened to send gunmen at Kaichur News. He think he's a Bajan. I never see no man with no wind seed who's a Bajan. Probably a bad mango. Keep sharing the link. And then, after they got into power, he says some of us black people got run and left Guyana. Because they intended, I'm saying this part, to rain down tyranny on African Guyanese. That's basically what he was saying. He was threatening the black public servants, the black politicians from the opposition, black police officers. People will have to run and leave the country. He think he's a Bajan. Keep sharing the link. So, when they got into power, he set his eyes on me. Why? I have the influence. They just did a poll that showed that I have the influence. I have the influence in Guyana. I have the influence in the United States. I have the influence with elected officials. I'm a community leader. So in order for them to try to discredit me, he and Barjak, they started to paint me as a criminal. And their East Indian ethnic supremacy that they're trying to impose on Guyana compelled them to believe that they can talk about us black people, African Guyanese. But African Guyanese must not respond. How dare you respond? We're superior. We're East Indians. We're from the PPP. Well, I'm not allowed to hell with you on that. Because if you try to tear me down, I'll tear you down back. You come at my throat, I'll come at your throat. The funny thing about this is that the man is a congenital liar. He born so. He inherited part of his culture, part of his DNA. He's dishonest. In any other society, he would have been disbarred. He would have got run back under the cupboard as a cockroach. Not only a cockroach, not a cockroach lawyer anymore. He would have got to go back as a cockroach. Well, in Guyana, they say cockroach. Look at him. He comes on TV and he, like an overgrown. I'm going to leave that one alone. I can say Jagabat. Overgrown trench crapple. Look at him with his puff face and his bespectacled self, huffing and puffing like an overgrown trench crapple. with pomposity, like he has authority over anybody else. This time he's nothing but a barefoot cockroach. Keep sharing the link, everybody. He's a nasty guy. He think he's bright. Think he's powerful. The thing about it is when we talk about them, we tell the truth. We give facts. He was investigated for the murder of Courtney Cumming. He's a criminal. He was arrested for stealing government assets. He's a thief. That is a fact. That's a fact. He must tell us whether or not he killed Courtney Cumming. I understand recent evidence now has been unearthed. Let's see where that evidence goes. I can tell you what, I'm not Cumming. And you know, in some societies, when they kill people, their entire generations are affected. Not in Guyanese society. No wonder they continue to kill people and smear people and attack people because they do it with impunity. Not me. Come for me, I'll come for you back, Anil Nanlal, Jared Barja, anybody who listening. So, when he came into power, I called for an investigation because we can't have a country where an attorney general allegedly killed a man or was involved in a murder and we just have rumors. The police confirmed to me that he was investigated under the Granger administration for the murder of Courtney Cumming. And there are other allegations. Primarily, he was investigated for the murder of Courtney Cumming. Whenever you see him, whenever you hear him, remember he was investigated for a murder. He don't have no integrity. He don't have no credibility. What has credibility is the office that he occupies, and he's a disgrace to that office. He's a low-down, dirty liar. Quote me, and I'll prove it. He's a nasty liar, deceitful, evil wretch, unbecoming, unfit to be an attorney general. Like I said, all they can do is make up stuff about people. Let me show you what he made up of me. He went on national television and said this about me.
And that brings me to this lunatic who is in America by the name of Rickford Burke. I never spent time speaking about this man because to me he's not worth my time. But now I see he has been attacking me all the time, calling me racist, calling me murderer, that I have murdered Crummy Wing. This man, Rickford Burke, let me tell you a little about him. I never bothered with him because he's one of those fringe element people, you know. They're mad. They have a loose screw in their head. They are extremists. People don't take them seriously. But apparently he's writing the US government about me. So I have to deal with him now. Rickford Burke used to be an advisor, a personal assistant to Desmond Hoyt. He was dismissed from that position and chased out of the PNC because of dishonesty. There are a number of businessmen now who are still looking for Rickford Burke. He took money from them. He robbed them. He defrauded them. The Guyana police force is still looking for Rickford Burke. This man is a thief. And I want him to sue me. And I want him to come to Guyana. He filed a writ against the Chronicle when we were in government because the Chronicle published that he is a pedophile, that he raped some small child or sexually molested some small child, and he's on that register in the United States as a pedophile. He couldn't come to Guyana to prosecute his case because the police want him. And this lunatic is trying to malign me. I am coming to New York. I will go to Brooklyn. Let him come to Guyana. Let him come to Guyana. He can't come because there are so many businessmen and women.
Good. Let me deal with him. First of all, I'm not a lunatic. I'm a smart, educated black man. And you can't deal with people like me, Anil Danlal, because you're a coward. You're nothing but a cockroach. You're a flimsy lawyer who is now the laughing stock of the U.S. Justice Department. Now, he said he was coming to Brooklyn to deal with me. He ain't come. He's a coward. But you know what? I went to him. I went to Queens to deal with him. We led a protest. He ain't come for hours. He refused to come. He put the consulate to call the police. They said we're coming to kill him. They had about 40 police at the event. Until towards the night, he was supposed to be there for 5 o'clock. He came minutes to 8. Hiding. They hired Brinks Security. For those of you in Guyana who don't know what Brinks Security is, Brinks Security is the company that transports monies from the bank with big AR-50 guns. That's who they hired for him. That little fraud of an attorney general. Coward. Under different circumstances, I would call him a little cat. You know what we call a little cat? That's who he is, the little baby cat. First of all, I was proud to be not a personal assistant, but the special assistant to President Desmond Hoyt. I was never chased out of Congress Place. The people in the PNC probably laughing at this guy. They're laughing at that guy. I worked in the office of the president. I worked at Congress Place when the PNC lost power. I left Guyana to study. I went back to Guyana to organize Mr. Hoyt's opposition leader's office. I never borrowed money, took money, robbed money from any East Indian businessman. I was a young man of distinction in Guyana. Distinction, honorable citizen, proud of my history, my legacy, chairman of the YSM, Guyana representative for the Caribbean Youth Parliament, secretary for the Guyana Association of Young Professionals as a teenager, worked as a technical officer at the Ministry of Regional Development at the age of 17, was the technical assistant to the Minister of the Public Service at the age of 16. Anil Nanlal. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, you clown. Only a buffoon would make up those things. Only a buffoon. When I left Guyana, Desmond Hoyt held a massive farewell party for me. Desmond Hoyt then went on and asked me to come back to Guyana to organize his office for opposition leader after he had his heart attack. Desmond Hoyt then traveled to New York with Stanley Ming to attend my wedding. How foolish are you to make up such nonsense, Anil Danlal? But you're a cockroach. So that's what cockroaches do. He said, I'm a pedophile. I raped some small child in America. I've never been arrested in my life. All they can do is make up stuff. What police was looking for me, Anil? I was the child of a police officer who lived in the police compound. I lived in the police compound, Anil Danlal. What East Indian businessman will do business with a child. I'm sorry, a teenager. I was a teenager. Name the businessman that Rickford Burke robbed. But you know what? That's exactly how they think about black people, Afro-Guyanese. That we thief. You hear him? He's a thief. That cockroach Alan Nandalal, you're a thief. You were arrested for stealing government asset. You are a thief. You should have been disbarred because you went to every court in Guyana to ask for the charges to be dismissed. And every court told him, go and stand the charges because there were evidence for the charges. You are a thief, Anil Nandlal. And yes, I think you're a killer because I think you were involved in the murder of Courtney Kamewing. So when people in Guyana see you, they must see you as a murderer. That's who you are. And if you didn't kill Kamewing, or if you were not involved in his murder, tell us who is. You think that you could get on public television and malign me as an Afro-Guyanese and I must not respond to you? You damn cockroach, you're a criminal. Anil Nandlal is a criminal. He was arrested for crimes in Guyana. He stole the people's money from the office of the Attorney General to allegedly send his wife for fertility. And you telling me that I'm a thief? Check the court records to see who's a thief. You guys think because you're East Indian and you're in some position, you're superior. You're not superior to me. You are trash, Anil Nandlal. You are trash. And I can deal with you. I can take you on anytime. Anytime. In this country, we crush racists. And we also crush cockroaches. And you're both. So he couldn't handle the protests. Couldn't handle the protests. So you know what he did? He decided to turn to the US government. He decided to abuse his office as Attorney General to write the US government. But before he did that, he got himself involved in a conspiracy to frame me. Well, back up, no. The day after the protests in New York, and this is why I believe that he was involved in the murder of Courtney Kamewing. He had a meeting in New York in Queens where he advocated for me to be killed. And then he ran and said, I made that up. Marjagbe ran and said, I made that up. Well, let's see. Listen.
So, Rick, just a heads up. Um, it was not an actual clip per se. It was a telephone conversation. So I was sitting today with a bunch of uh, PPPites, and they don't quite know who I am because anyway, I'm not gonna get too much into it. And so there's a conversation had with him, and basically, this man wants you dead. Between you and I, actually, he really does want you dead. And so I'm actually sitting in and trying to, in fact, let's put it this way, too, that I infiltrated these motherfuckers. I was sitting today with an individual named one whose name, he says his name is and a woman named, she just says her name is, I don't quite know her real name, but those are the three individuals. On the real, that man wants you dead.
Call his minions together to tell him I must be killed. That's what they did to Courtney Cumming. But I'm not Courtney Cumming. I'm here. And I serve a God. And my God will whip you, Anil Nanlal. Whip you. He whips cockroaches. And you're a cockroach. So, when he made that statement in the meeting, the witness left the meeting and called the police. And called me. I don't know this person. But the person works in law enforcement and felt an oath to his a duty to his oath to uphold the law. And when the matter was reported to the police and the FBI, when the investigation started, and when the NYPD listed him as wanted, he had the Guyana police commissioner contact the NYPD to tell him, I made up the complaint. Well, everybody can hear now I didn't make that up. I was happy at the park. I was at a fun day at the park when I got the call from this person and the police. And then he wrote a statement and gave it to the police, the Guyana police force, to release. Fraudulent statement, pretending that it came from the NYPD, that says the NYPD dismissed my case, my complaint as vexatious. But here how we get caught. That's why he's a cockamamie cockroach lawyer. Here you get caught. NYPD can't dismiss complaints. They don't have that power. And then he started to involve himself in all sorts of conspiracy to get back at me, retaliatory actions. And he and Barjagde and all of them cook up some story with some East Indian businessman who is a financier of the PPP, finances the PPP from BM Suit. And here why BM Suit vex. Because BM Suit indulges in predatory practices. They're predators, financial predators. BM Suit pretends to be a car dealership that sell cars. I want everybody with a contract or an agreement of sale from BM Suit to read your contract. They're not selling you any cars. It's a rental agreement. It's a rental agreement. And so BM Suit, when you sign that agreement, the car becomes the collateral. And they put a condition, a term in there that they can take back the car at any time if you fail to pay. You're not paying for the car, you're paying to rent the car. But when you enter into that agreement, you have to have a collateral. Sorry, you have to have a guarantor. Guarantor must have collateral. If you default, they take the car and they take the property of the guarantor as well. And we spoke out against that at CGID and on my page. That's what they're calling extortion. Now, there was a new news entity called GNN that carried my commentary and my articles. And GNN apparently carried the story about them robbing people. BM sold. So BM Soap's owner called 2 journalists and asked them to break into the GNN website and take down the story and put up their own story. I don't even know who these journalists are. They're from Guyana. Never heard them, never spoke to them. And when the people could not break into the website, the US website, which is a crime, Nanlal and Jack there when them set to told PM so to say, Burke sent these guys to rob them. But here a joke. All of this was caught on video. And when good police officers heard what the government was planning to do to frame me, they sent me all the videos, all. As a matter of fact, a police officer sent a message to me, a police officer from CID, sent a message to me through a former government minister that Nanlal and Jack, they're planning, trying to use, excuse me, BM South to frame me. And we must watch out for what's coming in the coming days. So, BM South gives some Nancy story that Burke tried to extort them. Ain't got no evidence, you know. Police put out wanted bulletin for me. I'm still here. What they did not know is that from the time we heard what they were trying to do, we took it to the FBI. We took it to the FBI. And the FBI launched an investigation. And the investigation was to determine whether or not the government of Guyana was using criminal charges to commit to commit transnational repression crimes in the United States to repress my free speech. In other words, to try to silence me. And that was an extensive investigation. And police officers from Guyana submitted statements to the FBI, certifying that they witnessed the government and the police try to frame me by fabricating statements. That's in the FBI file. Now, let me know that. They set themselves up, you know. So, FBI had an expansive investigation that expanded beyond me. And they looked into every single thing. What the government of Guyana was saying to the press. They were studying all of Bar Jagdev's statements, all of Nanlal's statements, everything they had. And they would laugh. Matter of fact, the officer in charge of the investigation, said what they were doing is pure nonsense. Exact words, quote unquote, nonsense. Their allegations, nonsense. They think this is Guyana. But the Attorney General, the cockroach, he can't help himself. From now on, everybody in Guyana must be known as the cockroach lawyer. He can't help himself. So he jumped into the fray. He's the first one to run out and say, I tried to extort people $90 million. That kind of nonsense. Then, when I respond, they got the embassy in Guyana to file a complaint against me with the Justice Department. For what? Free speech. Free speech. Burke is on social media attacking us. They say they are social media defaming me, smearing me, including the Attorney General. I just played it. Absolutely lie. Nothing he said in that video is fact. Nothing. But they expect us as black people to cower. Not this one. Not this one. So the police, the US government just throw the complaint in the garbage bin that the embassy sent them. So now they want to take it further. They're trying to find a way to see how they could get Burke to come to Guyana to kill him. They make up they had some arrangement where they thought I was going to come to Guyana with the fact-finding mission of elected officials, and they arranged for some big bad criminal and his gang to kidnap me, take me to the Suzdijk Highway, and shoot me in the head. I kid you not. That's the intelligence that U.S. law enforcement informed me of. That's the chatter. Keep sharing the link. And the people they have doing this for them, some of them are in the Guyana police force. And I'll call a name tonight because I'm not scared of them. So they got a police officer named Corporal Lewis from Vigilance. They got a Corporal Lewis and if anybody knows Corporal Lewis from Vigilance Police Station, send me a copy of his photograph. I'll read to you guys what Corporal Lewis did. They got Corporal Lewis to lie I'll give you all Corporal Lewis's regulation number. Detective Corporal 24611. Detective Corporal 24611 Lewis. Y'all send me his photograph. The world will know these people. They got Lewis to lie. To say on or around September 23rd, I was in Guyana at an address fellowship West Coast Demerara. Sorry, between August 21st and August 22nd, I was in Guyana and I went to Lusignan and tried to extort money from the owner of BM Soul. I kid you not. This is what the Guyana Police Force and the PPP government did. Put Corporal 24611 Lewis to lie in an affidavit, in a summons that he drafted out, and present it before a magistrate, and the magistrate signed it. Here why they did that. A magistrate could only sign a summons for somebody in Guyana. So in order to get this summons signed, they had to lie and say that I committed the crime in Guyana and I live in Guyana. So the magistrate signed it. Then they sent Assistant Superintendent Saraba to my house, came all across the continent, got a gun, an illegal gun, and came to my house. He could have been shot dead. He could have gone back in a body bag. But that's what Barrett Jagdeo and Anil Nanlal and Clifton Hicken, the police commissioner, did. And guess what? They got an East Indian businessman to pay for the ticket. I'm going to come to that, not in this show, because we got the names and so on. And I will rain down hell because those things are illegal. So they got Corporal Lewis to lie to a magistrate and said that I was in Guyana. I haven't been in Guyana since 1998. But Corporal Lewis lied and said that I, at the time, was residing at 2002 at Fellowship, and I committed a crime. I went to Louisiana and committed a crime. And here why they did that. They did that because they were trying to get me to go to Guyana to kill me. They think that this summons will compel me to go to Guyana. And if I don't go to Guyana, they plan, because Barjack, they've said it, they're going to ask the magistrate for an arrest warrant that they can then present to the Justice Department here for me to be extradited. Only cockamamie lawyers would come up with all of this crap. Only cockroaches would do this. This is the extent that Anil Nanlal went as the Attorney General, and he should be disbarred. He's dishonorable. And we will pursue that route as well. So that they could write the US government and say, here's a warrant for Rickford Burke's arrest. He committed crimes in Guyana. So they sit down in Guyana and think that they could charge me in America for whatever. And lie to a magistrate. Lie to a magistrate that I live in Guyana and went to Louisiana and commit a crime. And then it gets better. Both of the two journalists, when the police interviewed them, they said they didn't know me. And they tried to push them to say, yeah, they know me. Yeah, I must say Burke send y'all. And mind you, the video evidence shows that these two young men were called by BM Soot to tear down an article against them that somebody wrote against BM Soot. In comes Anil Nanlal again. Anil Nanlal jumps are going too fast. The government of Guyana issued a statement saying these two young men implicated me, and they put out the wanted bulletin. Everybody laughed at it as a joke. Abuse of power. Abuse of power for what? Because I have been talking out against them and exposing their racism, and I have influence. And what is most interesting to US officials, even though several United States politicians warn them, they want to show they got balls. Let me play what, and everybody probably knows this, let me play what the Attorney General of New York told them when they started to do this. The Attorney General of New York. This is what Letitia James, this is what she said.
I came here to listen, but what I heard is very disturbing, extremely disturbing. And so my comments, I stand and and reaffirm the comments of my brother, Congressmember Jeffries. The United States will not tolerate racism in Guyana or any other country. And I also want the officials to know that if any harm comes to Rickford Burke, let me say that again. If any harm comes to Rickford Burke or anyone on this dais or anyone in this room, there'll have to be answers. We will immediately demand answers, and I can tell you that someone will be held accountable for those actions. And for those who are in Guyana and for those officials who don't know me, my name is Letitia James, and whether you're in the White House or the State House means nothing to me. I fear no one other than my God.
That's the Attorney General of New York. So, the Attorney General said that, and they got more enraged. How dare this black woman talk to us, superior East Indians, like that? So then they start to abuse their office to try to treat me as if I'm a criminal. What's the biggest joke is that everybody in this country knows that I'm a distinguished leader in this country. I came here in this country, went to school and distinguished myself. Not as a cockroach, but an honorable citizen. So Nanlal and Jack, they were not, oh, Burke is a criminal, Burke is a criminal. So after Sarabo crossed the line and came to my house, I filed a complaint with the FBI and the US State Department. We now know that the State Department took it so seriously, they summoned the Guyana ambassador in Washington to the State Department to explain under what law they have the power to send Sarabo to my house. Sam Hines is the ambassador in Washington. Sam Hines didn't go. Sam is stupid. Sam Hines sent his deputy ambassador. And the deputy ambassador told them he is going to have to discuss it with his government. And whoops, Anil Nanlal, who think he's a bad man, responded to the State Department on behalf of the government. And that's what brings us here tonight. Let me read you part of his letter. We are instructed that on July 22nd, 2024, Mr. Zulfikar Ali, Deputy Chief of Mission in Washington, was invited to meet with you. At that meeting, you informed Mr. Ali that Mr. Rickford Burke, a Guyanese residing in Brooklyn, New York, lodged a formal complaint with the Federal Bureau of Investigations, alleging that the government of Guyana is harassing or persecuting him, or words to that effect. And alleged that the government sent police officers to his home in Brooklyn to cause him harm. Please be informed that the government of Guyana refutes all of these allegations, all of it. Listen to him now. This cockroach lawyer, this cockamamie lawyer, He said here that he refutes all of this, which means that the government of Guyana did not send a police officer from Guyana to my home. He's saying it's not true. Please be informed that all of these allegations are absolutely false and wholly unfounded. And they consider them to be a malicious attack on the integrity and the reputation of the government. What government? What damn integrity the PP government got? A racist, murderous government. But the letter continues. We view this matter seriously and are already in consultation with lawyers in the United States seeking appropriate legal advice. Bring your lawyers, Anil. Bring them. You go and bring your lawyers. I am waiting with mine. Notwithstanding, Ghana government made the requisite inquiries and wishes to apprise you, this is State Department, using social media platform for his Facebook page, Mr. Burke has been labeling and maligning and attacking the reputation, goodwill, and good name of a number of business entities. A number of business entities. Here name them. Cockroach lawyer. Name the business entities. Under the pretext that they're protecting customers and customers of these business entities, while conducting these public onslaughts of these business entities, Mr. Burke privately and surreptitiously inboxes them on the same Facebook platform or communicates with them via telephone, offering to cease the attacks against them in exchange for money. Anil Nanlal, devious, nasty, criminal, lawyer. I challenge him tonight. Bring the businessmen. Bring them or resign. Bring these businessmen. You pump yourself all around Guyana, puff chest. You're the Attorney General. You're a disgrace to the bar in Guyana, Anil Nanlal. To write such a lie without the ability to offer one shred of evidence, you're a damn criminal. Everyone in Guyana should look at you with disgust. You're a disgrace to the bar in Guyana to write such trash. I can't believe that an attorney at law would put this in writing. Well, it's absolutely not true. He went on, the owner of one business, he got to BM soon, having said that all of these businessmen, he got to one businessman. One businessman reported this criminal extortion conspiratorial plot of Mr. Burke. To the Guyana police force. And a sting operation was carried out by the police. Marked monetary bills were paid over to Mr. Burke's servants, whom he directed to uplift. This is Anil Nanlal writing the US government saying that I send me servants in Guyana for uplift money from some East Indian businessman. One of the implicated persons confessed in writing, implicating Mr. Burke. Mr. Burke and other persons were charged. These charges are pending before a magistrate court. The learned magistrate, upon examination of the charges, issued a summons to be served on Mr. Burke by the Guyana Police Force, authorized by the relevant criminal statute. Name the statute, Anil Nalal. Now, Anil Nalal think that the lawyers in the United States are cockamamie cockroaches too, like him. He writing the United States government. The United States government called the ambassador to ask them, on what authority you entered the United States and came to Mr. Burke's house? This is Anil Nalal response. The learned magistrate, upon an examination of the charges, issued a summons to be served on Mr. Burke by the Guyana Police Force. In order to serve the said summons on Mr. Burke, a duly authorized officer of the Guyana Police Force traveled to New York and retained the services of a licensed process servicer. Now, here we call the process servicer. A man who just work with a lie, just go around and give legal papers to people. He got to be a cockamamie lawyer. First of all, you remember the United States government in the meeting with Zulfikar Ali, the deputy ambassador in Washington, said, Mr. Burke said, you'll send an armed police officer to his house. Anil Nalal said, no, that is not true. We refute everything. We refute it. Hear him now. In order to serve the summons on Mr. Burke, a duly authorized officer of the Guyana Police Force traveled to New York. He just said it's not true at the beginning of the letter. Absolute dunce of a lawyer. Absolute comic for an attorney general. Here the next line. Mr. Burke accepted service of the document from the said licensed processor on the stairs of his premises. When they issued a video and the whole world saw I walk, we're telling Mark about my place. But this is Anil Nalal. He is indecent. He's a nasty, deceitful cockroach. People like that, you crush them on the ground with your shoes. He's an embarrassment to everybody who has been attorney general in Guyana. But if you can murder or participate in the killing of a human being, what else can't you do? But back up. It gets even more interesting. Remember in the letter, Anil Nalal said that this young man, this journalist, in writing, said that Rickford Burke sent him. And mind you, I don't even know who these people are. Never seen them, never heard of them, never talked to them. I don't know these people. I live in America since 1992. But because they want to frame me to create a basis for a magistrate to send a summons, then a warrant to the United States government, they're saying all of these things. Remember, Anil Nalal in this letter to the Justice Department said, this journalist said that I sent him for money, when in fact BM Soot called. How I know this? I studied all the videos because everything was on video, and BM Soot mistakenly turned over the video to the police. And the police officers were so incensed, so pissed off that the police force and the government can lie. They send me all the videos. So here is the young man being interviewed by the police.
To give his comment on the article, very easy.
So, Jason, is there any question you have for Mr.
Yeah,
Wade?
From time to time, I heard you made mention of Mr. Burke. Yeah. Can you tell me who Mr. Burke is? I didn't hear it correct. I mean, it's one of Mr. Darwin's head. That's not it. Have you ever met this person? Never did. Spoke to him? I think you're overseas. Never did. Look, working for Darwin.
All he knows, do you know who this person is? No. All he knows is that Mr. Burke is one of his friend's friend. Have you ever spoken to this person? No. Have you ever met this person? No. The Attorney General of Guyana wrote the U.S. government to say, this young man said in that interview, I sent him to pick up money from BMSO. Anil Nanlal should be disbarred. Anil Nanlal is the chief law enforcement of Guyana. Anil Nanlal is the head of the bar. He should be disbarred. Every lawyer in Guyana tonight should be embarrassed. I am sure if a young lawyer did that, what Anil Nanlal did, they'll be disbarred. But further, he said that this was an extortion. Remember, I don't even know these people. I don't know these people. The guy said he doesn't know me. And they said it was extortion. They said, I sent this guy to this man for money. When in fact, mind you, they called this guy. We have it on video. I don't have the time to show you the video. I'll probably show you another night. Call the guy and tell the guy, come and pull along this website that got up this story for them. About them. Here they're asking the young man about this so-called extortion.
I was too confused.
So the money you are in your possession, right?
Yeah.
And the money Mr. Here you are in his possession. Did you extort that from Mr. Mohammed?
Hell no. Mrs. Man, oh come on. Mr. Mohammed is paying his way from day down to get himself out. That was his only hope, which is he called me and he said, look, he said the police can't do nothing for me. He said so because he was trying to get this Mr. Colgreen man to get me and I was refusing based on my rights that I'm not coming because there's not a case against me. Good. That finished with Colgreen was.
Did you extort this money from Mr. Ahmed? Hell no! Mr. Ahmed called me and offered me to pay me to try to break into another website in America. And the Attorney General of Guyana put that in a letter. He didn't only write that letter. He wrote another letter. He wrote another letter. He wrote another letter to the Attorney General of the United States. Dear Attorney General Merrick Garland, the government and citizens of Guyana are once again, wish to register their deep concern with respect to Rickford Burke, a Guyanese national permanently residing in Brooklyn, New York, who continues to use social media of his Facebook page to launch almost daily attacks against the government and citizens with the clear and evident intention to excite racial hostility among the different races and classes of the citizenry, to incite ethnic strife, encourage criminal violence, cause public disorder, mayhem, rain terror across the length and breadth of Guyana. This boy Rickford Burke bad for this. The publication by Mr. Burke constitutes several criminal offenses. I live in America. And this jackass of a cockamamie lawyer, Anil Nanlal, writing the Attorney General to tell of the United States. He writing the Attorney General to tell the Attorney General, first of all, it's pro-lie. I don't incite nothing. What it is, I'm exposing the racism. They can't stand it. But he's writing the Attorney General to tell the Attorney General that Rickford Burke, exercising his constitutional right in America, is breaking the law in Guyana. The only person who can write this is a cockroach lawyer, a cockamamie lawyer, an arrogant buffoon who thinks that the Attorney General of the United States can stop me from talking. He thinks the Attorney General of the United States could breach the law and tell Rickford Burke, stop criticizing Anil Nanlal and Bharat Jagdeo. Yeah, that's what Merrick Garland gonna do. Let me put it to Anil Nanlal like this. You could complain to Merrick Garland, all the judges of the Supreme Court, the district attorney of every county in America. You can't shut me up, boy. You think that you have the right to lie to the United States government. You think that you have the right to jump on national TV and smear me, call me a pedophile, a thief, a this, and I must not respond. And when I respond, it constitutes a crime in Guyana, and I live in America. And let me tell you where to go. Go to hell. Go to hell. Keep that for those little black boys that you guys abuse in Guyana. Keep that for the people who are powerless, who you guys crush every day. You're begging, you're a coward. You're running to Merrick Garland for help when you are attacking me and I'm responding. You're a little sissy, Anil Nanlal. Don't run to the Attorney General. The Attorney General can't help you. The Attorney General deals with criminals. I'm not a criminal. I'm not afraid of the U.S. Justice Department. I don't commit crimes. I'm an honorable citizen. You, on the other hand, you're a killer. You're a coward. You're a thief. You were arrested for theft. You are the criminal. You, Anil Nanlal, are the criminal. Don't run to Merrick Garland complaining like a little baby. That's what cockroach lawyers do. You're a cockroach lawyer. I'm not afraid of Merrick Garland. What Merrick Garland's going to do? And then he had the audacity, the effrontery to send samples of me criticizing them about their racism to the Justice Department. I say, hey, look at this. Well, you know what? You know what? Every day Merrick Garland is receive criticisms, brutal criticisms. It's called free speech in America. You're a buffoon. What lawyer, what attorney general worth its salt is going to commit such retaliatory acts because I file a police complaint? It's called retaliation. And it's absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And let me tell you this. You can't shut me up. None of y'all in the PP can shut me up. If you guys can talk, me, Rickford Burke, as a black man can talk to. And every other person in Guyana should start exercising their right. You guys don't own free speech. You don't control free speech. You guys are overdoing this thing. This is a gross abuse of your office. It is a disgrace. In other countries, you'd have had to resign. In some societies, you would be disbarred, Anil Nanlal. More to come, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to do the research. And I am calling on the authorities in Guyana to launch an investigation of the commuing murder in which I believe Anil Nanlal was involved. You don't get to kill black people and get away with it. You don't get to smear black people and get away with it. It is time for an investigation of the commuing murder. His family deserves justice. The society deserves justice. The state should ensure justice. Have a good night, everybody. I'll be back with more about Mr. Nanlal.